Hi folks, Florida Man here. Today we're entering part 2 of my Basics of Turkey series, focusing on your strategy going into 1902. Basics of Turkey, Battle of Belgrade. I named it the way I did because in most games, 1902 will see Turkey trying to take Serbia. However, as we'll discuss, that's not the only way the second year can go. After 1901, there are only a relatively small number of paths the Turkish position is likely to have taken. So there are only a handful of positions you're likely to be in at the beginning of 1902. First, there's the boring possibility that your armies are in Bulgaria and Constantinople. Your original fleet is in Ankara or the Black Sea, and you have a new fleet in Smyrna. This is the boring possibility in my mind only because it's extremely common and not a great position to be in or a terrible position to be in. It's the position you're in if you didn't manage to do anything extra, and you didn't go after Russia in 1901. Typically, if you're friendly toward Russia, or if Italy isn't your primary ally, Turkey's 1901 build is the aforementioned fleet in Smyrna. If you're in this position, you need to work with Russia and or Italy to get into Serbia as quickly as possible. Or you need to work with Italy and or Austria to get into Greece as soon as possible. Or you need to work with Austria to take Romania or Sevastopol as soon as possible. You will notice the one thing I'm emphasizing here is that there's a sense of urgency now to acquire a new center. Last year, there was no real pressure on you to grow beyond Bulgaria. If you don't acquire anything by the end of 1902, though, there's a real risk of you beginning to look like an easy target for your neighbors. So this is the point when you should look at the layout of your neighbors' units and think about what they've been saying to you and decide who looks like a good prospect. If you haven't committed to an ally yet, this is probably the time. Offer a reasonable division of enemy centers, and a promise of undying friendship, and see who's willing to reward your loyalty the most handsomely. When it comes to dividing Russia, usually it's at least 2 Russian centers each, with Sevastopol typically becoming Turkish, and Warsaw typically becoming Austrian. Greece may be part of the bargaining too. When it comes to dividing Austria with Russia, the dividing line is usually that Budapest and Vienna are Russian property, while the rest is Turkish. I'm not aware of any set convention for dividing Austria with Italy, but I would typically expect Trieste and Vienna to be Italian, Greece is up in the air, and Budapest and Serbia probably ought to be Turkish, depending on where you're each going next. Dividing Austria between all 3 of its neighbors is inherently unstable and will always lead to conflict, so if you're trying to do that, be ready to backstab one of your partners. The second possibility for a 1902 starting position is that you're in an anti-Russian position after having opened with Constantinople to Bulgaria, Ankara to Black Sea, and Smyrna to Armenia, also known as the Crimean Crusher. Depending on how good you are at smoothing things over, this may or may not have kind of burned your bridges with Russia, so you should try as hard as you can to work with Austria now. It doesn't really matter which one of you gets Romania or Greece, as long as you get Sevastopol yourself, and you're able to fend off any possible advances by Italy. If I'm working with Austria against Russia, I'm also talking with Italy from a very early stage about possibly working together against Austria once Russia is gone. If you can get Italy to prepare to fight Austria instead of you, that's kind of hard to do, but it sets you up for incredible success in the middle game. If you don't trust Austria in 1902, you should try to be in the position of offering Austria support more than receiving Austrian support. If Russia is being crushed, it doesn't matter so much who gets the first center from that conquest, as long as you ensure it's ultimately divided evenly. Take Romania, and start taking shots at Sevastopol, and you're well on your way to establishing yourself as a power to be reckoned with. The third possibility for your situation in 1902 is that you did better in 1901 than I imagined. You got into Greece, or Romania, or Serbia, or even Sevastopol somehow. If that's the case, I would just recommend doubling down on whatever partnership got you into such a good position. If Austria helped you take Romania or Sevastopol, or willingly let you have Greece, I would probably keep working with Austria. Being too treacherous is dangerous in diplomacy, especially in the early game. If Russia helped you take Serbia, or gave you Romania, or you tricked your way into Greece, then you've probably made Austria an enemy, so you need to keep going against him. Going forward, the concerns you'll need to be worried about are where Italy is going, whether your initial ally is getting cold feet, and what the Western powers are doing. You should have good communications with everyone, even the people who are far away from you. You really need to know if Italy will go after you or Austria, or if he'll go west against France or Germany. If Italy's going after you, you need to maintain a navy to defend against him and eventually attack him. You also need to try to persuade France to go for Italy if possible. Offer him support, offer him friendship and future collaboration against Austria or Germany, whatever you can come up with, because Italy is going to be one of your big problems if he comes after you, which Italy frequently does. If you're going after Russia, I usually favor trying to get England or Germany to attack him too. England is sometimes preferable because Germany will want Warsaw, but England will usually only expect to get St. Petersburg and Sweden out of this, which you can't reach in any case, so they're no good to you. On the other hand, if you plan to stab Austria once Russia is weakened or gone, you might want some help from Germany, and getting him involved in the fight with Russia is a good way of achieving that. If you're going after Austria, definitely get Italy or Germany involved on your side if possible. Whatever makes the war effort quicker is good for you, because the big disadvantage of Turkey tends to be a relatively slow start. I hope you enjoyed this Basics of Turkey video, and that it's given you some food for thought. Stay tuned for the next video in this series, which will be called Basics of Turkey, Battle of Gallipoli. And if you enjoy these Basics of videos, you know what to do. Give it a like, a comment, a subscribe, and consider joining one of these superfans whose names now appear on screen, the unsung heroes who provide additional support through patronage or subtitle translations. Until next time, Florida Man out.